Hi everyone, this is the briefing video for the ATW Hearts Tri. My name is Mike from ATW, and we'll start off by just sort of saying that you'll follow, when you arrive at the venue, you'll follow the directions and the signs that will bring you through to the car park. See behind me here, a huge car park, okay? So there's also an overflow car park behind this one. So you can park up in here. If for any reason this one does get full, there is another car park over the main road on the other side, on the north side of the road, that you can park in there. When you park up, you do need to pay for your parking. So you can see behind me here one of those nice little machines that you have to pay at. Yeah, you need to pay the appropriate parking amount for your stay here. Do have a look in the event race information that gets sent to you for any advice in there about any special rates or whatever that can be applied. I've just paid just now for mine, and it didn't accept payment on my phone, trying to do a sort of like touch using my card on my phone. So I don't think it uses sort of Google Pay or Apple Pay, but it did work with a credit card using contactless, and it doesn't accept coins either. So do bring a card with you that you can use for making that payment. I do believe you can also use an app and pay on the app, and you have to make the payment by that evening, so that could be another option as well. Okay, so after you've parked up and paid your parking fee, you're then going to head up to the registration area, and also where the transition area is, basically the event HQ. It's actually going to be in this area behind me here. Okay, you can see it's on the edge of the park, so just follow the signs to get here. We'll have the registration tents here, and when you go to registration, you are going to basically tell the people at the registration desk there the name, your name, and basically what event it is that you have entered. We have 3 events taking place. There is the super sprint, there is the sprint distance, and there is the standard distance. Okay, so the super sprint distance is a 400-meter swim. It is then a 12-kilometer bike, and then it is finalised with a 2.5-kilometer run. The sprint distance is a 750-meter swim. It's a 20k bike, and then that is finished with a 5k run. And then there is the standard distance. The standard distance is a 1500-meter swim, a 38k bike, and then finished with a 10k run. So hopefully you know which distance it is that you've entered for, but you will basically head up to registration, give your name over at the appropriate registration desk, and then you are going to get given a pack, okay, which will have your race number in it. It will actually have 2 race numbers in it, and pins. Basically your 2 race numbers, one of them needs to be on the front for the run leg, and one of them needs to go on the back for the bike leg. Now, those of you who have been doing triathlon a while may well have a number belt, and you can attach one number to a number belt, and you can rotate it round from the back to the front. If you don't have a number belt, don't worry, you can just put it on a shirt that you can then put on in your transition after the swim, and basically have 2 numbers, one on the front and one on the back. We provide 2 numbers for you. There is also going to be 2 stickers in that envelope, and those stickers, one of them needs to go on your bike helmet, and the other one needs to go on somewhere on your bike, okay, either on the seat tube or the top tube, somewhere that's visible. Okay, those are so that for security reasons, that we know that no one else is stealing your bike at the end. When you come to take it out to transition, you'll be required to show your race number to us, and then we can match it up with the numbers on the bike and the helmet to make sure that we're keeping your equipment safe. You're also going to be given a timing chip that will correspond to your race number. Okay, so that timing chip needs to be worn on your left ankle. The reason why you need to put it on your left ankle is because that is the side where all the scanners will be put, but also because when you're on the bike, if you have it on your right ankle, that is where all of the chain and all the mechanisms are for the gears, and there's an increased chance there that something's going to come loose on your ankle. The timing chip can actually get caught up, and the strap gets caught up in your chain and cause you to have an accident. So make sure you wear that on your left ankle. When you are putting your timing chip on, it needs to be worn for all 3 disciplines, so the swim, the bike and the run. What we recommend is that you don't cover it with any wetsuits or any other kind of materials, socks, etc. The reason being that it actually will reduce the chances of the chip being read by the timing mats when you run over them. So please try and avoid covering your timing chip. You'll also be given a swim hat, which will correspond to the wave that you are taking part in and the distance that you are competing in. Okay. So that is registration. Once you've done your registration, you're then going to go away, prepare your bike, etc., move into transition. You will find numbered racking in transition, so you will basically find the spot where you need to rack your bike. That is, you rack your bike by the saddle so that the handlebars are pointing towards you, and that is where you leave all your equipment for the bike leg and for the run leg. Okay. Then you're going to head out to transition and basically prepare yourself for the race, do a bit of a warm-up, whatever. As you can see, there is plenty of space here for you to basically complete your warm-up. And then when you're ready to race, head down to the lakeside area, maybe something like 10 minutes, something like that, before your race is due to start. All right, and then they will get you in the water, and there may be there'll be a chance for you to do a bit of a short swim out to the start line just to acclimatise yourself for the race. Now, one question we always do get asked a lot is, what is the water temperature for the race? We won't know this until race morning. We have to take the water temperature literally on race morning, and that will dictate whether or not wetsuits are allowed or optional, or they are actually mandated and forced on you. Okay, so please bring your wetsuits with you, so then you have the flexibility to do whichever. It's spring, you know, at this time of year, then I would imagine that they are probably going to be optional. Okay. So regarding timings, registration will be opening at 5:30. The start times for the races will be that the super sprint will be set off at 7 AM. We're then going to be waiting until all the super sprinters are out of the water, but we anticipate starting the sprint race at around 7:15. And then we'll be starting the standard distance race at around 7:25. So here I am at the entrance to the lake. You probably see behind me here there's a ramp behind me. It's got an AstroTurf ramp. That is going to be the way that you will be accessing into the lake. All of the starts are going to be what we call a deep water start, so that means that everybody will be getting into the water and then heading out to the start buoy. All of the courses are going to be a clockwise swim around the lake. So you're going to go into the water, head out to where we will have our buoys in the water. You can see some permanent buoys which are out in the water at the moment, but we will have our swim buoys out there. Okay, and we'll also have safety kayakers, etc., explaining and guiding you along the way. But you will basically go out to a start line where you will then sort of wait for the start. When it starts, you're going to swim up the left hand side of the lake here behind me. You're going to get to a buoy. There are going to be red buoys in the middle of the lake, and then there'll be yellow buoys at the far end. The red buoys are what are going to be used for the super sprint. Okay, we turn at the red buoys, swim across the other red buoy and then back again, and then you'll come back to another yellow buoy at this end. You turn around that buoy and then you're going to head back to where you started from. Okay, that then completes your 400-meter lap. If you're doing the sprint, you're going to go straight past, you're going to swim up the lake, straight past the red buoy to the yellow buoys at the end, and then you swim around the yellow buoys, come back down the other side, past the red buoy on the way back down to the yellow buoys at this end and round the yellow buoys. Okay, that then completes your 750-meter lap. If you are doing the standard distance, you are going to do 2 laps of that 750-meter course to make it 1,500 meters. So you go all the way round and then do it all over again. Okay, and then when you've done all that, when you've completed your number of laps, that course that you're doing, the exit is actually behind me here. Okay, you can probably see a bit of a cove behind me here, and that is where you will be getting out of the water. We will have a nice big exit arch there for you, and flags, etc., to sort of guide you out on. There's a bit of a beach type area. You'll be getting out there, running through a bit of a yard, up into the park, where you're then going to be heading your way up into transition in the park. Okay. So after you have exited the water, you're then going to run up to the transition area. Now when you get into transition, the first thing you're going to do is take off your wetsuit if you're wearing one, your hat and your goggles. And then the most important thing that you're going to do is that you're going to put your helmet on before you touch your bike. One of the big rules of triathlon is that you're not allowed to touch your bike before you actually put your helmet on and fasten it up. Okay, so make sure you do that. One of the second rules of triathlon is that you're not allowed to ride your bike in the transition area at all. So you must unrack your bike and then walk or run with it out to the bike exit. And then you're not allowed to get on the bike until you have crossed the mount line. So there will be two lines at Stamber Lakes. They're actually out on the access road, so you do need to exit the park area here onto the little access road there is outside, and that is where the mount lines will be. You need to cross that mount line before you actually are allowed to get on your bike. On the way back into transition, yet again there will be a dismount line. You must cross that, sorry, you must get off the bike before you get to that dismount line. Okay, so you must get off the bike before you get to that dismount line. Failure to do that and the officials there will take numbers and could result in a penalty, in a worst case scenario a disqualification. Okay, so we come to an important point here on the bike course. In actual fact, it is just after you have mounted your bike out of the park. I'll just spin round here. You can see this sort of internal access road that you will have ridden along after you've mounted your bike. And then literally you've probably only come about 150 metres and you get to this point here, and you can see a group of cyclists up here behind me from Triforce who are actually wrecking the course, and I just heard one of them sort of like briefing the others about what happens at this point. What it is, this is going to be a mandatory foot down and stop, okay, before you enter the road. You can see from the traffic here that there is quite a lot of traffic coming. It is an entrance to a roundabout, it is a dual carriageway. Fortunately the traffic shouldn't be coming too quick because they are approaching a roundabout, and we are competing on a early on a Sunday morning, so there shouldn't be too much traffic. But you must come to a complete stop and put one foot flat on the floor, check to make sure that it's clear to go, and then before you pull out. Okay, it will be very well signposted that this is coming up, and there will be marshals here, and also this tends to be where the race referee or technical official tends to position themselves. Anybody who doesn't comply with that mandatory stop and foot down will be disqualified. We've had many disqualifications in the past at this point. We really don't want to have any on race day this time round. And really they're going to be looking out for people who are doing things like dragging their feet along, not coming to a complete stop, that kind of thing. Okay, so just play safe, guys, and make sure that you all come to a complete stop and put one foot flat on the floor. So you've done the mandatory foot down and stop, and now you're heading out onto the bike course. So out on the bike course, like I say, there are three routes that we're doing, or three distances that we're doing. The super sprint will be heading off on an out and back course. Follow the signs for this. You're basically going to take a right hand turn at a large roundabout, and then you're basically going to be heading out onto another roundabout, turning round and then coming back. All of the bike courses, when you get back to Stamber Park, you actually have to go past the entrance to Stamber Park because you're not allowed to turn right into it. You have to basically go to the top of a small hill, turn around a roundabout, and then come back down, and then you're turning left back into the entrance. So it can be a bit demoralising that you've made it all the way back to the park, and then you've got to go straight past the entrance, all the way up to the top of a hill, turn around and come back. But the good news is, same for everybody. So that's the super sprint, is an out and back course. The sprint distance, it heads out the same way, but instead of doing a U-turn at a roundabout, you're basically going to continue. You're then going to head into Wheathampstead Village, and then there is a bit of a climb, not going to lie, up out of Wheathampstead Village before you then take a left turn and head back around, bringing yourself back along Cooper's Green Lane before then coming back to the roundabout and then heading back up into Stamber Park. The standard distance is going to do 2 laps of that course. Okay, so you basically do 2 laps around exactly the same course as the sprint distance. While you're out on the bike leg, it is important that you're competing on open roads, so it is important that you totally comply with the highway code. That means that I do believe there is one pedestrian crossing out there. If there's anybody obviously on that pedestrian crossing, you must stop and allow them to cross. Also, if you do come across any other road users more vulnerable than ourselves, so for example horses, etc., please do treat them with respect and make sure that you pass them widely and safely. So you've finished your bike and you've done your dismount, you've run back into transition. You're then going to find your racking point. Very important that you rack your bike before you remove your helmet. Put on your trainers after that, and then you're going to head out onto the run course. And you can see behind me here, this is the park, the beautiful lake down at the bottom of it as well. You can see there's a few undulations here, sort of thing, in the park, so it's not a totally flat run. It's an interesting bit of a challenge for you. And the lap around the park is a 2.5 kilometre lap. So if you're doing the super sprint distance, you're just going to do 1 lap around the park before heading into the finish. If you're doing the sprint distance, you'll be doing 2 laps. And if you're taking on the standard challenge, then that is going to be a 4 laps of the park before you head into that finish line. Finish line will all be really obvious, and at the finish line, that's where you're going to be rewarded by your well-earned medal. We'll have water available for you there, and also we'll have some finish line goodies. On the run course, we will have a water station available for you in the form of some cups of water that you can basically sort of cool yourself down and drink. Okay. So one thing that we have had trouble with in the recent past at some of our races is people littering on the course, in particular on the run course. If you are going to be taking on gels or anything like that, it's very important that you don't litter the park. This is a beautiful environment that we're running in, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to get a bad reputation as triathletes for basically spoiling the environment. So please do carry any gel wrappers or anything like that with you. There will be bins near the water station on the run course. Please do carry any litter that you have to those bins and deposit it there, and don't drop it on the floor. Okay, so that just about wraps up this briefing video for the ATW Hearts Tri. There is a set of race information that will be sent to you. It will be available as well via the booking page. There's a link to it there as well. Please do read that information just in case there's anything in addition to what I've covered on the video here that's important for you. And just finally, just to say that we are totally looking forward to seeing you down here at Stamber Lakes and welcoming you here and seeing you have a great race. We'll see you there.